What are you doing the rest of your life? North and south and east and west of your life. I have only one request of your life, that you spend it all with me. All the seasons and times of your day, all the nickels and the dimes of your day. Let the rhythm and the rhymes of your day all begin and end with me. I want to see your face in every kind of light, in fields of gold and forests of the Nile. And when you stand before the candles on a cake, let me be the one to hear the silent wish you make. Those tomorrows waiting deep in your eyes, in a world of love you keep in your eyes. I'll awaken what's asleep in your eyes. It may take a kiss or two. Through all of my life, summer, winter, spring, and fall of my life, all I ever will recall of my life.
keys. I just need you to do me one favor. Yeah, just come with me. Tell me what you think about when you think of me. All these trips we go on so frequently. All day. Another day in paradise, that's right. Maybe that was me and you last night. 17-mile drive and then weekend. Tour around Carmel for a weekend. Or we could take the one up to Santa Cruz. Come with me. Hit the mystery spot and then a beach or two. Right around the city, girl, me and you. Drive on Lombard, we'll do it with the top down. Twin Peaks, we'll watch out till the sun down. People watching Union Square, we'll go window shopping. Popping tags with Neiman like there ain't no stopping. You can pick the time in any place you wanna come with me.
It's a sunny day.
So sunny, baby.
We've got lots of time.
We got all day.
Let's go out and play.
Let's go outside.
Leave our cares behind.
Just leave them up.
Window shopping, downtown walking, inside a walk cafe, lunch for two.
The two of us.
We'll do it all if you will come with me.
Just come with me.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, well, I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Oh Lord, can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh Lord, oh Lord. Well, if you told me you were drowning, I would not lend a hand. I've seen your face before, my friend, but I don't know if you know who I am. Well, I was there and I saw what you did. I saw it with my two eyes. So you can wipe off that grin. I know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, well, I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Oh Lord, and I can feel it. I can feel it coming. I can feel it come. And I've been waiting for this. And I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Oh Lord. Well, I remember, don't worry. How could I ever forget? It's the first time, the last time we ever met. But I know the reason why you keep your silence up. You don't fool me. The hurt doesn't show, but the pain still grows. It's no stranger to you and me. I can feel it. Oh Lord, I've been waiting my life. Oh Lord, yeah. I can feel it. How could I ever forget? Oh no, I've been waiting. You don't fool me. You can't fool me. Oh no, I can feel it. sunshine, smiling on me. I'm on cloud nine. No complaints dare even come to mind. You'll find me dancing in the crowd, working, thankful to do what I love, and countless blessings come with no end in sight. This is what life is all about, and it only gets better, and it only gets better, and it only gets better. Loving the life I'm living, trading nothing. Family, friends, and fans supporting a dream that gets realer all the time. Feels like something special's almost inside. 3, 2, 1, ready to take flight. Don't think I'm ever coming down, and it only gets better, only gets better, and it only gets better. I've come too far, moving forward, keep it going. It's my moment, y'all. I've come too far, moving forward, keep it going. It's my moment, y'all. Change the spirit to high and nothing bring me down. Change the spirit to high and will you be there when I fall? Will you be there at all? When my dreams begin to shatter, am I everything that matters? Rumbles at my feet. When I look to the sky and I whisper past the clouds just to say, will you be there through the dark? Or will you falter from the sky. When there's no one left to call my friend, will you be there to hold my hand, or will you walk away? When I look to the sky and I pray and I whisper past the clouds just to say, give me wings, give me wings to fly, give me wings to fly. That way, up in the skyway. Will you be there for me when raindrops turn to storms, when autumn leaves die in winter breeze, and I am no more? Will you give me wings? In the skyway, give me wings.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is now time for the Indie Live Spot right here on your station, GHP Radio, your independent music source. Edition of the Indie Live Spot, and we are ready to get the show on the road. We're very excited about our guest today. We have a music guest, actually a return guest from some time back, and his name is Mark Arthur Miller, and he has some new music out, and in fact we're going to talk with him and hear some selections today from the new CD. And also, as usual, my co-host Griselda, Joyce, and Ray MAC is here along with us. And so join me to welcome our music guest, Mr. Mark Arthur Miller.
Hey. Yeah. Welcome back, Mark.
Thank you for having me back. Love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great to be here.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here. Thanks for taking the time, because I know you have a class to teach afterwards. So, unfortunately, we only keep him for an hour, peeps, and then he's got to go.
Oh yeah.
But we want to take advantage of the time that you're here.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long? Because I know you had the EP, and you're going to add on some other, additional material to the EP to make it a full CD.
Yeah.
How long did it take you from when you started to, gather the music together, putting it together, and then recording, getting the musicians and all that?
Well, the EP came out actually in 2013, so it took another 4 years to finish. So yeah, and it wasn't about the material. I mean, I had written some stuff, and I knew what I wanted to write for this particular album, and it was just about the dollar.
Yeah, it always comes down to the money, unfortunately.
Yeah. So so I did some funding and got some great people, and then I funded a lot of it with my life savings to finish it. And then I won't even tell you how much it cost, because it probably cost more than anybody else's first album should ever cost. But I didn't want it, I think I learned that from my dad and stuff, and from the business, that I didn't want it to sound like a first album. You know what I mean by that? Sometimes you just to get music out there, you scrunch on the budget a little bit, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted it to sound like this was my 10th album, quality wise and production wise, and so that's what we did, and finally got it out there. But I'm really happy we did, because I loved the way it came out.
It sounds awesome, and it does sound like it's that you've been recording, like this is not your first album. It doesn't sound like that at all.
Yeah.
It does sound like it's your 10th, with the full production and the way it was mixed and everything. It's amazing.
It is.
Amazing. So how many songs are actually on the full CD now?
14.
Wow.
So it's
you're getting a bang for your buck.
It's to sit down and take over an hour to listen to album. Old days,
that's okay. That's okay, because it's great.
Liner notes, and a couple of cocktails, and you're going to enjoy the whole record.
Well, that's kind of how it was in the old school days, when
that's right.
albums came out. So that's great.
Yeah, and I actually, in liner notes, I put a lot of information to read. I also put the lyrics to my songs that I wrote on there, because it's just old school. When you bought a record in the old days, the first thing you did was sit down there and read all the lyrics. I'm still the old school, so I figured, everybody else, the rest of the songs on the record, everybody knows the lyrics too, but I put mine on there a little bit,
Right. Yeah, because I missed that too when you would buy the LPs. Aside from, it's like, there's pictures inside, and then it's like, oh, the lyrics, okay, cool, especially for the songs that hadn't played on the radio yet, you know. So those are the tracks.
Exactly.
So that's pretty cool. And then you kind of see their, you know, I'm sorry, what?
A lot of the ones you liked the best were the ones that weren't on the radio yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
True.
I miss that too.
Yeah, that's the one thing about iTunes that, you know, I'm finding I printed all these CDs up and they're selling and I'm sending them out and making sure people get it. But they're making cars now without CD players.
I know.
You know, so everybody's got everything digital, and there's something, I don't know,
Missing.
you know, only the top stars have those digital booklets that you can get on iTunes. You know, the big where you can buy the book, read the liner notes and read the lyrics. But for people like me or whatever, they're not allowing you to put that thing on the iTunes part of the record. So, you know, you lose a little bit of the history of the record and how it came to be and why it came to be and what influences were and all the musicians on the record. You know, you can't get that unless you read the record. So I love that part.
Yeah. Yeah, the liner notes, that's important. Very important. Wow.
So what are we going to do about that situation, Mark?
Well, you know, I don't know. We're not going backwards, but I always say the future's great, but it's not always better than the past. Let's just say that.
Well, yeah, you're right about that.
That's why I did a lot of songs that I did on this record. You know, it's more or less a tribute record to the old Motown days and old school with new, fresh outlook on them. You know, so but,
right with your signature on there.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right. I'm sorry, Joyce, you were saying?
No, that's all right. I said if you just met someone and there are people in the chat room and listening, if they've never heard you before, how would you describe your music to them in terms of genre, style? I know you just said Motown, but how would is it all Motown sounding, or how would you describe it?
I think it's old school R&B with old soul with a twist, you know, with a little different bent on it, you know. I mean, I hate to label the record because every song was like a separate journey. I think that's why it took so long. I mean, we sweated over the arrangements to try and get the lyrics to really have a fresh new outlook and tell a brand new story, if you may. And when you have great songs and great material like that, you can sort of do what you will with them because they're already great, you know, as long as you don't screw them up. I mean,
right.
But I think it's like, I would still call it soul or adult contemporary, you know, soul.
Okay.
I mean, you know,
so how many originals and covers are on the 14?
Well, there's 12 covers and 11 covers and 3 originals. 2 by me and 1 by Peter Smith, which is a duet, which I do with Maya Sykes, an incredible song.
Well, one thing you don't have to worry about, you know, since you don't want to put a label or a genre on it, you ain't got to worry about it. These DJs are going to put it in a genre, so you ain't got to worry about that.
That's exactly right. So it was hard. I mean, that was with the PR people, it was a little hard, sort of them trying to pinpoint the record. And, you know, it's like I'm too old to be put into anything. So I said,
any box.
you guys can't figure out that it's good enough to be played on the radio, then you know, it's not in a certain box. You know, to me, good music is good music. Period.
I agree.
No matter
Exactly. Yeah, and when just touching a little bit what Joyce was talking about with you, how would you describe your music to someone that is his first time, you know, meeting you or hearing about you? And when you're describing it, how you took great songs from back in the day, especially Motown, and you put your own signature to it to make it Mark Arthur Miller sound. I love that you use the cello in Tracks of My Tears. Love that intro. Love it, love it, love it. And there was another one that you also used the cello on, but I can't remember what track it is right now.
Well, we have strings on about maybe.
Yeah, because I did hear also like violin stuff.
We brought a whole string section. We brought in a whole quartet and then quadrupled them to make it sound like a crystal.
Right.
So we brought in a lot of strings on a lot of songs, and then we added things to the old EP songs.
I noticed that. I
re-sang a lot of stuff from the EP. I re-sang Dock of the Bay.
Yeah,
basically, I re-sang Dock of the Bay because I had an interpretation that I didn't feel I accomplished the first time.
Mm-hmm.
One, with my interpretation of the song. I mean, it's my version of it's. You know, Dock of the Bay by Otis was very sad, and this was my angry version of Dock of the Bay because his lady left. You know, so this was Otis' hit.
Right.
So I put it up tempo and did it, and then I also had been singing it because I tried to personalize it the first time. And the EP, if you go back, I sang a lot. I'm just sitting on this dock of the bay, and talking to some other people and remembering about my dad's lessons to me.
Right.
That's not the lyric he wrote. He wrote on the dock of the bay, not this dock of the bay. So I went back and took that out and re-sang it because I didn't do it. I didn't do it proper.
Right. Right. Yeah, because I didn't know there was a difference.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. There's so many genres out there in terms of music to cover.
Yeah.
Jazz, rock and roll, R&B, and what have you. But you chose R&B. So obviously R&B influenced you when you were growing up. Where did it all come from? Were you in the clubs? Did your parents play? Because some people say, oh, my parents played this all the time and it affected me. How did R&B and all this old school R&B, where did it come from?
Tell us the story, Mark.
Well, there's a one-man show called Soul Searching that this album is attached to. So it's an hour and a half, it's a 90-minute show with an 8-piece band, and it tells the whole story of my upbringing along with all the music. So there's stories, music, stories, music, stories, and it's almost like a theatrical experience. And the story is that my dad left when I was 6, and I didn't see him till the time I was 6 to 16. For 10 years. And then we found him again. I found him again. And then we moved out to Los Angeles. My sister and I moved out to Los Angeles. But I grew up on the south side of Chicago, 87th and King, hence the title of the song I wrote, in an all-black neighborhood. So I was the only white boy there. And if you listen to the lyric, you know that sort of is close. But I'm the only white boy, and we're listening to all kinds of music. But obviously, you know, WGRT, WVON, all the black stations. So that's the music I grew up with. We had a singing group called Integration, except I was the only white group. You know,
so, that was integrated.
Yeah, it was integrated with me.
They call you Spot.
Yeah. So this is how I was raised. But the irony of the story is I'm on the south side. We're listening to all these records, and I'm going, hey, fellas, my dad wrote this record. And they're like, that's not your dad, man. That's bullshit. And I'm trying to convince them that my dad's one of the famous writers for Motown. They're like, man, you don't even know who your dad is.
Well, I knew they didn't do you like that, though.
No, they did do me like that. I was part of the Dozens, and everybody here knows how to play the Dozens.
I don't know how to play. I just sit back and listen and laugh.
So that's where the influence comes from, Joyce. I mean, it was pretty much, you know, I put in the notes on the record and the lines out there. It's pretty much because of my upbringing and my father. It's pretty much part of my DNA, you know. So, you know, I sort of claim it, you know. You know,
right?
Yeah.
So, you know, and that's, you know, it's like Daryl Hall once said, you know, when they said, you feel like you're stealing this music, and he goes, this is the music I grew up singing, you know, in an a cappella band when he was Daryl Hall, when he was a little kid. So, you know, you get what you're raised with. And this was, thank God I was raised with this music, you know.
Yeah, it's the
absolutely.
I remember those.
Well, it's probably a lot better raised up with the polka, huh?
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. But you know, even on the beginning of 87 The King, I have a little kids playing in the street. That's how the record opens, with kids playing in the street and playing double dutch.
Oh,
you know?
Okay.
That's how the record opens, you know.
I was wondering, it's like, I know it's kids playing outside, but I couldn't figure out what.
They're doing double dutch.
The double dutch, okay. Got you.
Which we did every day, and the music was in a little transistor on the porch, you know, playing. You know?
Are you planning to do any videos for these pieces?
I have I have videos all over YouTube, and I have a 6-minute sizzle reel of the show. Oh. I am editing a new one because I just filmed the last show for the CD release in May.
Cool.
We're editing that now, which again is more money.
Yeah.
You know, it's like crazy. So I'd like to one of these days make some money off this stuff instead of spending all this money. But so we're doing a video of that, of the whole show, but pretty much a sizzle reel, which will be part of a PR package, you know, that I get, you know, because I'd like to take the show all over the country to high schools and to colleges and to performing arts centers, because it's a real emotional show. It's about people getting together, you know, and about a father and a son, and it's got this great music in it. And it's done differently. Plus, it's got new music that I've written and some other stuff that we're putting out soon too. So it's sort of like looking back, but moving forward at the same time. You know.
Right.
So I think it's a terrific show for everybody. Actually, you know, it's sort of like a learning experience show.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Well, since we've been talking about 87th and King, why don't you go ahead and play it, G?
Okay, let's do that.
Let's get into that one.
I love it. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this first tune on, and I want y'all to check it out, and then we'll come back and talk some more right here with Mr. Mark Arthur Miller, our featured guest, if you just tuned in. And so check it out and keep it locked. We'll be right back.
I was born there, I learned to walk there, and I'm sure they thought I'd never stop once I learned to talk there. Hear those echoes ring on 87th and King. I was raised there to be strong there, that you used your voice and made a choice between the right and wrong there. These were important things on 87th and King. Now I know that these were different days, and you might say old-fashioned ways, but these memories teach me still as they ask me to sing about 87th and King. Most folks were black then, my shade was light then, and though I wore a different coat, the bonds were always tight then. We worked through things on 87th and King. On my porch there, we braided my hair, playing bid-whist and getting kissed. You know I had my first there. We had endless spring on 87th and King. Now I know I've traveled far away, can't count the times I lost my way. Yet these memories stay so clear as they move me to sing about 87th and King. cold outside, we danced like it was May there. Grab your girl and swing down 87th and King. I learned to sing there from my soul there. The sounds rang out from every home, made me feel so whole there. Hear the voices ring on 87th and King. Now I know I can't go back in time to find that boy I left behind. Still these memories hold me near as they call me to sing. About 87th and King. We had some hate there, but so much love there. And looking back, we all believed we were watched from up above there. Let the church folks sing about 87th and King. We could fly there on his wings there. And when he died, they named this street, but he always was the king there. We saw freedom ring on 87th and King. Heaven help the child who never had a home. Heaven help the girl who walks the streets alone. Heaven help the roses if the bombs begin to fall. Heaven help us all. Heaven help the black man if he struggles one more day. Heaven help the white man if he turns his back away. Heaven help the man who kicks, the man who has to crawl. Heaven help us all. Now I lay me down before I go to sleep. In this troubled world I pray the Lord to keep hatred from the mighty and the mighty from the small. Heaven help us, heaven help us, heaven help us. Troubled world, I pray the Lord to keep us. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, help us all. Please, please help us. Please help us all. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord.
Oh, please, I get you.
Wait a minute, hold on. All right, so now we're back, and for some reason the mic wasn't, just like when I pushed it last week, it did the same thing for me. I pushed the button and then it came back on. So anyway, we're on. And
Take two.
Yeah. But the music,
we hear the music? That wasn't even my record.
That was
that my song or not?
But no, that second piece that we did play after the 87th and King, it was Heaven Help Us All. It was nice. Very nice.
Yeah,
I love that intro with the percussion. Almost
that's hard. That was hard for me to listen to because it's my personal favorite song that my dad ever wrote. Mm-hmm. I mean, he wrote a million of them, but was always my personal favorite. So when that finally was finished, I was so happy with it. But I know my sister and I just cried the first time we heard it when the record was done because he couldn't hear it. He wasn't he was going to be able to hear it, and that was sad for me. But but the opening percussion, which is like a minute of percussion, like it's a wall of percussion. I had that idea about 15 years ago how I wanted to do this record. I wanted it. The vision, the movie vision in my head was that a man was standing in the middle of a field in Africa with open field and jungle on both sides of it, and he heard a village percussion group walking closer to him, and as it got closer, it was distant in the distance. As it got closer, it got louder and louder and louder, and then they walked past him and then walked through the other side, and it got softer, and then the music started. Hence Heaven Help Us All, where everything started. So I wanted that. So I was fortunate enough to get Stevie Wonder's percussionist, Munungo Jackson, to do it, and he came in with like 20 different African instruments.
Wow.
Cool. That is
awesome.
so cool.
And we,
Yes. So cool.
And we played he played piece by piece, and he just layered stuff. And I said, okay, what about this and what about that? And we just kept layering. It was such a beautiful session with him because he's a great kid. And then we took everything that he played, and then we kind of layered it a little bit. Mm-hmm. He sort of gave us, the blueprint, so to speak, and then we had to go with the blueprint, but I was really happy the way it came out because it's just, to me, it's a beautiful beginning of then the song, you know.
It is. It is. I mean, like I said, I love that intro with all that percussion.
I put that on YouTube. All the songs are on YouTube, but I posted it on Facebook about 3 weeks ago because I was just, you know, unfortunately, I feel like this every day with this administration that's in office right now. But that I lose my mind over every day. But I put the song out on YouTube and said, my dad's timeless lyric, unfortunately. And, you know, because unfortunately that lyric still holds true, you know, in this country. And he wrote it, you know, in 1960 something. So, you know, but it is a great song. It's a great message. And we had little kids come in. I had Peter's kids and my engineer's kids come in and to sing the backgrounds at the end. And when in the mix, we had all these people singing the background at the outro. We just bumped up the little kids' voices just a little bit more in the mix.
Awesome.
And we did that because you could just hear they're just beautiful. And then actually, a couple of them came on stage with me for my show the last time to sing the last. Cool. Yeah. But I'm really proud of that. I wish my dad could hear. Well, maybe he's listening somewhere.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
You did him proud.
Yeah. Tried to.
Now, I hear you talk about your dad. Obviously, he was a songwriter.
Yeah, he was a big time songwriter.
And who was he writing for? I know
Motown. Motown. Okay. He was Motown's probably first or second white writer.
What was his name?
Ron Miller.
Brian Miller?
No, Ron Miller.
Ron Miller. Okay.
Yeah. So he wrote For Once in My Life, Touch Me in the Morning, Heaven Help Us All, Yes to Me, Yesterday, A Place in the Sun, If I Could, a bunch, you know, the list goes on.
On and on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we'd bring that out for the listeners. Your father did a lot.
Yeah, I'm just trying to follow footsteps. You know, too big for me to fill, without a doubt. But I'll try my little feet in there as often as I can. You know. So
that's what you meant when you said it was in your DNA.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So your father, obviously, he had an influence in your music, but who influenced him to write such great Motown hits? Where did it come from?
You know, it's funny because he was like an oddity because Barry discovered him in a piano bar in Chicago. You know, his songs, and he was more of a standard writer who was influenced because of his age and stuff. Was influenced by, you know, the Cole Porters and the, you know, all those writers, and then, you know, Barry sort of said, I'm not exactly sure what you do, but I know you do it great. So let's come to Detroit Life for it. You know,
I like that.
You know, my dad would always say that if he had to survive writing music, he would have starved, but he was a lyricist. Now, he did write music and lyrics, but he wrote more lyrics to songs than had writing partners. You know, he always wrote the lyrics, and then sometimes he wrote both. But so he was just a great wordsmith. I mean, you know, I say in the show when I talk about him, I say he could meet you guys right now and write a lyric about your life in like 5 minutes.
Wow.
I mean,
I love it.
He was that kind of crazy genius with words. He really was.
That's so believable because I've watched, for those who are into rap artists, create lyrics on the spot and very fast. I'm like, how do you guys just...
I know.
I mean, and it's not only do they come up with it, it's rhyming and their timing. So that's when you realize that, you know, you think, oh, it's just rap, but try that.
You can't. I mean, not everybody can do it.
Yeah, and it's also something that you need to do every day, you know. And my dad was a songwriter, like the old school songwriters, like Smokey and all those guys, where it was not something that you did when you got inspired. It was something you did every day like a job. Yeah. You got up like you were a carpenter.
Okay.
And when you did it bad that day, you did it bad that day, but you learned to write better the next day. I talk about this show. I said my dad, because I always wanted to write, and I didn't really start writing songs until after my dad passed away, because I think I was so intimidated. But he would always say, he was going, "It's in you, man." He goes, "I've seen your stories," and he says, "Just write 100 bad songs. That's a good start. Write 100 bad songs." And that's what he did. He said, "You don't even want to see my first songs that I wrote as a kid," But him and all the writers back in those days were similar. I mean, my dad, I tell the story in the show because I do Tracks of My Tears. So I tell the story of Smokey being 17 when he first had an interview with Berry Gordy, in Motown. And he came to that interview with a notebook with 100 songs he'd written in high school.
Wow.
In high school. He wrote 100 songs. So he was doing that stuff every day. Yeah. And then get better at anything. You just do it every day. You try to do it every day.
Mm-hmm. I've never heard it described that way, but that's good information for people who want to be a songwriter or a lyricist. Because when I try to write my own lyrics, and you need someone who is honest, who will tell you. Yeah. Although sometimes some lyrics come out that I'm going, wow, and they still make it. But when I wrote "I See You" off my last one, my husband was like, he said, "Well, after the first line, you lost it."
That's honest.
He said, "No, it's not good." So I went back to the drawing board, if you will. And what I did is I sat down and thought about my life experiences. And I wrote about "I See You." And it came across pretty good. He liked that one. But you're right. I know I don't write lyrics that much, because I guess maybe because I'm first a horn player, and that's what I'm thinking about first.
Well, what's funny is I'm my dad's son, but music comes to me first, even though I'm a very poor musician. But I clunk out stuff, and bass lines come to me, and string arrangements come into my head. I sing them for Peter, and then we go and he charts them. And, so music, the lyrics are harder for me. Now, once I get going, I think part of my dad's in there, because I'm really proud of the lyrics that I wrote on 87th and King and of the time. But that doesn't come as easy. I hear more music in my head. And lyrics, I get the initial idea, and then I have to lock myself down in a chair and go, force yourself to get through you crinkle up and throw shit away. Excuse me.
That's your friend, Mac.
That's my boy.
Is there a beep on this thing? You throw stuff away going, nope. And I think I have my father's head in my voice all the time, because I have friends who claim to be writers, and they play me stuff or hear me or even give me lyrics all the time, and I have to try to tell them that that's not good enough. And I think for me, my lyrics are, if they're good at all, they're good because that voice in my head of my dad says, "Not yet. Don't let anybody read this yet. Not yet. Yet in there, but don't let anybody read this one yet." Okay. That's better, but don't let anybody read it yet. And then when it gets to the point where I think he'd be, yeah, that works, then I would put it out there, because it's hard to write and make it, because we're all writing about the same things. Mm-hmm. There's only so many stories, so we're all writing about the same stuff. So how do you write about it and make it unique? Make the metaphors different. Make the connections from A to B different. It's hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
Just give me another. What is that song? Jesse's Girl song. You read lyrics sometimes, and what happens is, what I realize about lyrics is that when you hear it with the beat behind it, you think the lyrics are great, and then you pull the music away from it, and you go, "That's really kind of corny."
A lot of don't hold up through the poetry test, I call it.
No, but for some reason.
It's really, yeah. Well, catchy sometimes, as we know, even in our generation, there was catchy stuff, and it worked. There's those kinds of songs too. I think my main objective on this this record with these songs was I wanted to make the arrangements different because obviously a lot of those songs have been done terrifically, but Motown did have a Motown sound to it that we loved, right? Yeah. But a lot of times for me, the Motown sound, because that sound was pushed forward so much, we forgot about how great these lyrics were because the lyrics weren't pushed out as enough. And I sort of wanted to like lift the lyrics and make them like really out a little bit more because the Smokey Robinson's lyrics, The Tracks of My Tears, is really brilliant. I mean,
but you know, Mark, if they come up with a good hook on the lyrics, the rest of it's gonna flow right on in.
Yeah, well,
the main thing is that hook.
Yeah, the hook is important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my hook was on. I had a little itch up my. Hopefully we'll get to play. I don't have the time. I had a little itch up my.
Backside?
What?
Your backside?
My itch up my backside about all the stuff that we're inundated with every day that we don't need to be. So I wrote I don't have the time, and basically it's like I don't have the time for all of this. I wish I just had the time to do what we're doing, talking, looking at each other. So I wrote that lyric. So it started out with, I don't have the time to read the morning papers. They just give me the blues. And I don't have time for fairy tales from Fox or certain trumped up views. I won't cloud my mind. Don't have the time. And that's how it starts out. And then it's a lineage of things I don't have the time for, like reality TV, The Housewives.
And I was like, going Dance with the Stars.
Kanye and Kardashians. I don't have the time. That's what the whole thing's about.
I hear you.
And you even put about cell phones or something, like to be texting kind of thing.
Can we the verse is can we have that private moment where no one else can see? Yeah. I could toss my phone and look at you, and you could look at me, and in our eyes we realize there's no better place to be, baby, just you and me. All right. To me that's.
Isn't that cool?
That is
Look
cool.
now. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what.
To me, that's the pure pop tune on the record that I wrote. I wanted to write one song that was a pop tune, like sort of a pop tune with a jazzy feel, and a lyric that meant something like the old pop tunes, where the lyrics were as good as the music, and that's what I wanted to, to do. And hopefully we accomplish that.
Well, okay. Well, why don't we just go ahead and get that track on? And since I look like we got about 15 more minutes before you have to go.
I gotta roll.
Yeah, so let's do that. If I can, maybe sneak one more in after that, and then we'll come back in with you and wrap it up with you. Okay?
All right.
So, listeners, I want y'all to check this out. It's called "I Don't Have the Time," and if you're just tuning in, we are talking to Mark Arthur Miller. He's our special guest today. We're very excited about having him on the show. So get your ears ready. Here's another one, and we'll be right back.
Yesterday when I belonged to me, and there wasn't anything. They just give me the blues, and I don't have time for fairy tales from Fox or certain trumped up views. I won't cloud my mind, I just don't have the time. Now I don't have time for crazy housewives from some jive reality. I need to be aware of all invasions of my sensibilities. It's artistic crime. I'd rather save all my time for you.
No, I don't have the time. No, I just don't
I could toss my phone and look at you, and you could look at me, and in our eyes we'd realize there's no better place to be. Baby, just you and me.
Baby, just you and me. Baby, just you and me. Baby, just you and me.
Now I bet K&K's big wedding day was something to behold, but I just say it leaves a sour taste when love is bought and sold. Too much airtime. I just don't have the time. I don't have time for all those bachelorettes and all their bachelor boos. And if I'm inclined to see some dancing stars, a telescope will do. I made up my mind, I dance neath the stars with you.
No, I don't have the time.
Oh, underneath the stars with you. Can we find a quiet moment, a place that's network free? We could shut it down, I look at you, and you could look at me. And maybe then we'd realize there's no better place to be. Baby, come dance with me.
Baby, just you and me.
Come on, baby, just you and me, girl. Time for wars about the gods or who we all should be. I'm willing to wait until this journey's end before I truly see. I don't think they'll mind if I spend all my time loving you. Can we have that private moment when no one else can see? I could toss my phone and look at you, and you could look at me, and in our eyes we'd realize there's no better place to be. Baby, just you and me.
No better place to be. Baby, just you and me. No better place to be.
Hey girl, turn off that TV.
No better place to be. Baby, just you and me. No better place to be.
Come spend some time with me. Hey girl, let's find the time. Time has to take me, but life will wake me. Whenever people feel the road's too long, they'll need some music, and I wanna come back as a song. Lives will be broken, love unspoken. Somewhere a child will feel that hope is gone. One lonely morning, I wanna come back as a song. Just can't say I'll be Somebody says his work is done. If deep inside him something is crying to be young, it's me just waiting to be sung. I wanna come back as a song.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. And yeah, that was some more great music there by our guest. And we just got through playing I Don't Have the Time. And then right on top of that, it was the, what was the title of that again? I'm sorry.
I Want to Come Back as a Song.
Yeah. And so anyway, we are back. And of course, you know, Mark is going to have to leave here in just a moment. He got some business to take care of. So we want to make sure that he gets in his information as far as to our listeners where they can get to this music and website information, all that kind of stuff. Mark, could you provide that for us?
Yeah, the music is everywhere. It's on iTunes and Amazon and CD Baby, and it's also, there's links on my website, which is markarthurmiller.com. And you can find videos on YouTube, Mark Arthur Miller. I have a video thing on channel, video channel. Some old stuff, some new stuff. There'll be, you know, we're constantly trying to put new stuff up there. And then the website is new and a little under construction, but the music is available there. And then we'll have some dates for some shows and things like that coming up. So, you know, pick it up.
Right. Get the CD, people. You've got to get it.
And please, you know, and I always tell people, if you get the CD and if where you get it, whether it's, you know, iTunes is obviously the easiest, and CD Baby and Amazon and all that. But if you get a chance, go on iTunes and write a review, or CD Baby and write a review, or Amazon. You know, it's always nice to hear what people think about the record. You know, you know, because I know there's a lot of people out there who are listening to it, and it's I had a guy in a building last week, and he's the elevator guy, and he had my record, and he was like, and this record is great. It was like such a surprise. I didn't know him from Adam, you know, and it was like, here's a guy listening to my record and is, I love 87 The Kingman. It's like where I grew up, and I was like, are you kidding me? What is happening? And it's great, you know, it's a great feeling that you're just
absolutely
making people smile, you know. So
also, real quick, because I know you have to be leaving in a couple of minutes. The last song we just heard, I Want to Come Back as a Song. The beginning, when I heard the intro the first time, I listened to the CD when I got it, and I was like, that sounds like Over the Rainbow intro. And then you start singing something else. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like that.
Peter and I wrote that opening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song by my dad. I mean, it's, you know, it's basically, it's like when he passes, he wants to come back to the song, and it's, you know, it ends the show, the actual piece, Soul Searching, the show. So that's the song that ends it. You know, that would have been his dream. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, I love that intro that you put in that little, you know, Somewhere with the Rainbow intro to it with the piano. Yeah, that was so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, and also real quick, since like I said, you have to leave, unfortunately.
Sorry,
I had asked Gary. I know, but you got to.
I got a few minutes, so I'm good. So we're good.
Okay, because I asked Gary to play, because I know it's one from the original EP that you did from Soul Searching, your version of Michael Jackson's "The Way You Make Me Feel." I absolutely just adore that. Why did you choose that particular song from Michael?
I always loved the song, but I always heard it
The way you did it?
The way I did it. I always heard it that way. To me, I mean, I've told this before in interviews, to me that's my male stripper song.
Because it does sound like a pole dance.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's when your lady says, okay, enough of me doing this. I want to see you do this.
You do it.
And you go, well, I guess that's fair. You know, then you come up and Mike is laughing at you.
I like Mark could come right off the top of his head with just almost anything. I like that.
You know, so that's how I heard it, you know, and I heard it sort of slow and sexy. So I tried my best to be as slow and sexy as I could with that song.
Well,
you know?
it is. Like I said,
but to me, you know, the arrangements and songs and the way I hear them or whatever, to me, they come like movies first. You know, they come like visual movies of, okay, what's this trying to say to me at its core? You know, that's, you know, and a lot, you know, Michael's, I mean, you're never going to do anything like Michael.
Right, exactly.
So I took a left turn with it, you know, because if you try to do it the same way, they're going to say, no, Michael already did that.
Right,
so,
exactly.
you know, Peter Smith, who's such a great jazz musician, I told him the feeling I wanted, and then we sort of did some different chords, you know, to make it jazzier and a little, the blue notes a little bit on it, and which made it even better, actually.
Right, to make it a little bit more sexier, more sultry. Yeah.
And, and Laura Mace is singing on it, and she's just, you know.
Yeah.
And we expanded her a little. You know, we put her a couple different things on the new version. So we expanded her a little bit, and in the live show, I expanded her a little bit, so it's even more fun because she sings her butt off.
Yeah, I mean, she's amazing on this song.
I
love the horn, that trumpet.
Yeah.
Because when he does that little run up the high note, it's like it's somebody, you know, put their finger up your spine. It's like, woo, okay.
It's about this record. Well, you know, I'm getting a lot of attention for that record. You know, whenever people say, "Oh God, that song is so sexy, how do you sing it?" I always, if they want information about me, I always send them, when they tell me how sexy that song is and how sexy I sing it, I always send them my headshot from 30 years ago. This is when I was sexy.
Well, you know you ain't right for that.
Yeah.
Wrong for that one. Yeah. 30 years ago.
God, I do love that cut. There's a you know, I think there's a journey on the record. I mean, we were talking about old records before and how, you know, old records were sort of like a sit-down journey from first song to the last song. It was sort of like a story is being told, you know, and I think musically and lyrically, that's what we tried to do. You know, that's what we tried to do. That was the thing. It's like, okay, this is a sit-down thing, and you're going to go some places, you know, with some stories, and that's, you know, and that's sort of what we wanted to do, and hopefully we accomplished that. Yeah, and I appreciate you guys for having me on. This is awesome. This is absolutely awesome.
Oh, no problem, man. We
There's
definitely.
someone in the chat room that says he's your cousin.
He's my what?
I think no, he's talking about.
No, it's yours. It's your cousin. Sorry.
It's
Gary's cousin.
Gary's cousin. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I think it might be. Maybe is it possibly Mark Griffiths? I'm thinking.
Probably. But you've got a different name right now.
Is this show on later? I mean, is there a link?
There's going to be an archive in about an hour.
Okay, cool.
After the show's over, yeah.
I'll send the archive to some people and listen, you know, and stuff. And in the archive, is the chat room in the archive too? To see what? No.
No, unfortunately, no. It's just the music, the show.
Yeah.
And Gary, he can post it on your page.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome to post it on my page, and then I'll share it again for a couple days.
Okay.
And get people.
Cool.
I'll do
and
that.
I'm Facebook with all of you guys, right? Joyce, you too?
Yes.
Are we Facebook friends?
Joyce, are you just checking? She goes, wait a minute, do I know?
What was in that drink, girl?
Because I don't know. I don't want to lie. Are we friends?
On Facebook?
What's your name? King Arthur? No, I'm kidding.
Bless your heart. Oh, Mark Arthur Miller. If we're not friends, friend me today. We're all friends.
I don't see you. Okay. I'll have to work on that, okay?
All right. Okay, you guys, thank you.
No problem, Mark. We definitely appreciate you, and thanks for being
all right,
here.
We'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
Okay.
We're going to say goodbye with The Way You Make Me Feel.
Okay. Let's do that.
I'm going to go grab a towel.
Oh, Grizz. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
We always kid him about that one.
I'll see you guys soon. Thank you again.
All right,
bye,
Mark.
Mark. Thanks. Bye. Love you.
Mark. Are we up here?
No, we're still on. I'm gonna hit.
Yeah, I kidded him about that the last time he was on. Because that song, we were just like, we had to hand out the virtual towels.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play that, and then of course we'll have more music on the way, and then we'll be back a little bit later in the show. So y'all keep it locked right here.
Right here
on GHP.
Sliding my hand along the chair, thinking of candles and
hey, pretty baby with your high heels on. You give me fever like I've never ever known. You're just a product of loveliness. I like the groove of your walk, your talk, your dress. I feel your fever from miles around. Can I pick you up in my car and we'll paint the town? Just kiss me, baby, and tell me twice that you're the one for me. The way you make me feel, you really turn me on. You knock me off of my feet, yeah, baby, you do. My lonely days are gone. I like the feeling that you're giving me. Just hold me, baby, and I'm in ecstasy. Oh, I'll be working, girl, from 9 till 5 to buy you things, to keep you by my side. I never felt so in love before. Just promise me, baby, that you'll love me forevermore. I swear I'm keeping you satisfied, 'cause you're the one for me. The way you make me feel, you really turn me on. You knock me over my feet, yeah, baby, you do now. My lonely days are gone. No more on keeping you satisfied. Oh, 'cause you're the one for me, the way you make me feel. You really turn me on. You're knocking me off of my feet, yeah, baby girl. Lonely days are ain't nobody's business but mine, all mine and my baby. You see, she turns me on, she knocks me off my feet. Oh, my baby, she turns me on. You know, she knocks me off my feet. Oh, my baby, come on, girl, amaze me, 'cause I just can't get enough of you. Oh, my lonely days are gone.
Another day of nothing special and need for something more. Same old ain't working for ya. Then you gotta let it go. Yeah, yeah. Take some time to spoil yourself a little. You deserve to enjoy the life you worked so hard to lead. So why not treat the one who stares you in the mirror? You know you're long overdue for some relief. So why not treat yourself?
Don't wait for someone else. Why not treat yourself? Grab a hold of what you want in life. You got to treat yourself. Just forget all your things to do for a little while. Treat yourself. Why not treat yourself?
Give some attention to yourself once in a while. Ain't nobody gotta know. You're so focused on everybody else's life. You forget about your own. Won't you take some time? Take some time to spoil yourself a little. You deserve to enjoy the life you worked so hard to lead.
So why not treat the one who stares you in the mirror?
You know you're long overdue for some relief. So why not treat yourself?
Don't wait for someone else. Why not treat yourself? Grab a hold of what you want in life. You got to treat yourself. Just forget all your things to do for a little while. Treat yourself. Why not
Treat yourself.
dreamed up so long? Why not take it? All of the gifts you passed on for yourself. Why not? Life is too short for you to hold on. You can't keep it. So go ahead and treat yourself. Guarantee that you won't regret it. Treat yourself. Why not treat yourself? Grab a hold of what you want in life.
Grab a hold of what you want in
Just forget all your things to do for a little while. Treat yourself. Why not treat yourself?
Treat yourself. You know you got to treat yourself. I'm ready to try. I'm ready to fly. I'm ready to fall in love. Let's give this a try. If you want me, if you need me, come and get me. If you love me, if you miss me, come and find me. If you want me, if you need me, come and take me. If you want me, if you need me, come on and get me. I'm ready to try. I'm ready, so let's fly. If you want me, if you need me, come and get me. If you love me, if you miss me, come and find me. If you want me, if you need me, come on, take me. If you want me, if you need me, come on and get me. I'm ready.
warning. Turn on the TV. Troubles everywhere I see. My plan of action. No satisfaction. Everywhere I need to be. Distraction get the best of me. But I'm on my way. Can't stop me. There's a brighter day ahead of me. But you never give up the fight. Stay inside the light. Patience is the key. Where you want to be. But you never give up your dream. Hard as it may seem. Man, just not how long. Inside you must stay strong. But you never give up your hope. Someone will handle wrong. Hold on and on and on and on and on. We go through changes. Life rearranges. Everywhere we thought we'd be. Longer than we want to see. Some stop their dreaming. Some take to scheming. I know what is wrong from right. I never give up the fight. 'Cause I'm on my way. Can't stop me. There's a brighter day ahead of me. Don't mock me, can't stop me. But you never give up the fight. Stay inside the light. Patience is the key. Where you want to be. But you never give up your dream. Hard as it may seem. Man, just not how long. Inside you must stay strong. But you never give up your hope. Someone will handle wrong. Hold on and on and on and I know I'll always rise. I got to. Because the prize belongs to those who fight through. Don't mock me, can't stop me. But your hard times come and go. Stay inside the light. Make you strong, let you know. The key. Where you want to be. If you keep up your dream, make you stronger. Hard as it may seem. Hold on, just not how long. Little longer. Stay strong. You gotta hold on. You gotta stay inside the light. Patience is the key. Be strong. Where you want to be. You gotta hold on. Be strong. Hold on. Hey, hey. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You gotta hold on. You gotta hold on. Be strong. Hold on. It's gone. Hold on. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, you gotta. You gotta hold on. Be strong. Hold on. It's gone. Hold
All
on.
right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the music. And also hope you enjoyed our music guest today, Mr. Mark Arthur Miller. Of course, if you did miss part of that today, we will have the archive posted later on this afternoon. So just be looking out for that and everything. But we do have some entertainment news that Joyce is going to provide for us. So I guess Joyce, you go ahead and take the stage here.
Sure. I'm going to start with I read an article from hypebot.com, and you can go and check it out for more details later. But the title reads, Billboard may add your YouTube plays to chart calculations. I thought that was very interesting. But reading further about it, let me just read this. YouTube plays are being added to the spins plus plays calculation that determines the Billboard charts, according to a new report. Now, when I read further, like I said, go to hypebot.com to discuss it more. I don't think the labels are as excited. I thought the labels would be thrilled because you have, and this is about A-list or major label artists, when you have millions and millions of views and you can get royalties from that, or the royalties I'm talking about being on the Billboard, or contributes to it could push you up the Billboard. And as an independent artist, if you can get several million views and it's reported to SoundScan, that can push you up the Billboard, and you don't have to rely on terrestrial stations that keeps repeating the same song over and over again.
Over and over again.
But the way I interpret what I read is that I think the major labels, there's some kind of relationship in terms of spins or spin data. I think that's the term, spin data, that they like that relationship as spin data just being the way it is, and they can control, maybe, this is my opinion, people like independent artists from coming in and taking over that. In other words, terrestrial stations, they repeat the same songs over and over. What is that term called? It's an illegal thing to do, to pay a radio station to play your music. Payola, yes. But the way they got around that is, we're just buying ads for your station. Well, we can't afford that, and so their music gets on the Billboard. Now, if it's on YouTube and we're in control and people start listening, I think that's my opinion. They may not want that. But there's also arguments going back and forth. YouTube, are you really paying what you're supposed to pay? With ads and everything, are you paying us, etc. So, but in this article, if you want to read it, you'll see that they claim that YouTube or Google, and I didn't see that, but there is a link in YouTube where you can actually search Beyonce, and it gives all of her stats. All the stats are, what's the word for it? It starts with an I. I can't think of what it is. But you know, when you go on Facebook page, insights, thank you. You can see all the insights, like you do in your Facebook page, when you use your Facebook page, and they give you the insights, how many impressions you have, how many people clicked, etc., etc. Well, YouTube has that as well, and Hypebot is saying that Spotify doesn't give you that. No other streaming entity gives you those insights into what's going on with your account. And then you can come around and say, well, can you really trust their insights? Is it accurate? And but I thought it was encouraging. Apparently, there's still some discussion on that. And I'll read the update. Talks between the labels and Billboard over what data should be included in future charts are ongoing. A source tells Hypebot, that's HYPEBOT, and no decision about the inclusion of data from YouTube has been made. So there's no decision, it's still being discussed, because also I have YouTube videos that just has highlights of my music. And does that count? I think that's what they were talking about. They have to say, okay, it has to be a full song.
The full song, yeah.
Right, so I think that's what they're talking about, but get this. YouTube says they can't protect our music from being illegally downloaded, right, when it's in there. Well, I did a test, and I found out, yes, it can. They're just not telling us how. And some people have figured it out. Because I was trying to figure out, how can karaoke companies put their music on YouTube and not few people are going to download it? Then they're not going to go to iTunes. That's where I get a large majority of my backing tracks is from iTunes. And I went in and tried to download it, and there are websites you can put it in and download it, and I couldn't do it. It says will not accept it. And I said, oh, somebody's not telling the truth. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Somehow the karaoke business is figured out, and I love it, mind you. And I think that's a great thing. But when they say YouTube cannot, and I've always said this, but since I'm not a computer science person, I know how to drive a car, but I have no idea how the engine works, okay? And there's no way, and I read different articles because I was trying to decide in my second CD project what I wanted to allow CD Baby to release, play. And I may go back and agree to it, but they said there's nothing you can do about it. CD Baby said the same thing. But when I found out that this karaoke company it's a huge one out there, and I buy from them as well, theirs is protected. How did they get their music protected, and where can I get that information? Why can't CD Baby do it, and why can't YouTube do it?
Because they're making money off of you.
Exactly. They're making billions of dollars off of our music. And what they don't understand, and I say that respectfully, is that without our music, they wouldn't have a Spotify.
Yeah.
We actually need each other. Without our music, and I think it's because, wow, when our music is posted and all this, it draws so many people. They can sell ads. They're making a ton of money.
Yeah.
So, but I thought that was some very interesting information for independent artists to be on the lookout for. But going back to what I said about the insights that it gives on artists, I went and put a few of our names, independent artists. We don't have any insights on our videos, and I know I have one video that has over. I don't have anything with millions on it, and it doesn't consider you until you're over a certain mark. And I think I have one video, I think over 75,000. But when you have someone with 10 million, 20 million, so I don't know, I didn't research that, but I think it would be great. But I think that the major labels will fight it again because it will put more control into independents. Now, when I say independent artists, you guys know that A-list artists are independent too. Right? So, and it may take, you remember when Prince got over? Right. And he got on the Billboard because he, ticket sales included in the CD, and that was reported. And now, since then, Nielsen or SoundScan, same thing, but have changed the rules a lot to avoid that. And that's what I'm thinking, that maybe the major labels are going to fight this concept because they don't want another situation the way Prince did it. It makes us more independent. We're more in control of our music. And I think it's a win-win because even listeners, they're catering more to internet radio because they can get the variety. They don't let them now. It's hard for me to listen to terrestrial now. I'm like, okay. When I went into that store in the mall 2-3 hours ago, I came back, that same song is playing again.
Yeah, I never listen to terrestrial radio or commercial radio unless I'm in the car and I don't have anything to listen to on my, if I don't have my CDs or whatever, then I might pop it on for just a bit. But that's the only time I'll ever do. Because I used to have an adapter for my iPhone so that way I can listen to all my stuff from the internet. Through my car, but I gotta get a new deal fixed in my car so I can do that again because it used to work off of the cigarette lighter plug in, and that thing's messed up, so now I can't do it. But you wait till I get it when I get it changed back.
You can put your iPod in there. I mean your iPhone. Sorry.
And I used to use my phone till I realized how much data it was using up. I went, oh, okay, can't do that. We need an offline app to play internet radio. And I think it exists, but that would be really nice. And that way or whether it's Bluetooth or you use an aux cord and you play the station that you want. It's a beautiful thing. Oh, I want smooth jazz, or I want R&B. And the challenge with R&B, you have to break it down what R&B you want to hear.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
there's so many options out there. Just so many.
There are. And I love those options. And I think they may be running scared because the digital age is still uncharted territory. They're still trying to figure everything out.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's all negative. I think it can be positive for independent artists because we can help identify that. You know, we individually, we may not have that much power, but as a unit, because if you have A-list artists who are independent, we can all come together and work this system in our favor, if you will.
You know, because like a lot of the, like you said, the A-list artists or whatever, you know, I even know, like, say for instance, she's, I think she's with a label, but I'm not sure. But I know that she's kind of been independent on in a source too, because you guys familiar with Mesa?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, what she does every Sunday, she always does this thing called Karaoke Sunday, and she comes on Facebook Live and she'll sing for 2 hours to the audience.
Wow.
And she's just getting a kick out of it. A lot of her fans love it, and I've actually been over there, you know, checking it out. And she'll sit there and do all her songs and stuff. And but she's always promoting herself, you know.
And that's what I'm talking about. Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
We
In
can
fact,
take
I saw,
advantage of it.
Kenny Lattimore, he was doing it yesterday. He had a new release he wanted to let his listeners check out. So he did that yesterday on Facebook Live.
But you know, you got this one girl, her name is Jessie, I think, and she's here in Dallas. And she's doing the same thing, promote herself for as R&B and gospel, and some of the, also she's doing some of the covers. Yeah, and she's doing it on Facebook Live. She's always posting something that she's doing.
Yeah. And also, who's in the news, Joyce, because I was going to say he even was doing that one last year or year before when his CD came out. He did a CD release party on Facebook. Tyrese.
Tyrese, yeah.
Came on and
he utilizes. He does a great job at doing that.
Yeah.
Even when he gives his wisdom talk, if you will, and he'll have his phone, just very laid back, nothing elaborate. Yeah. And even what I remember was Storming here in Lightning, and I said, this is what I do on a stormy night, and I just recorded myself doing some Coltrane, I think. What was it? Impressions. Played for a little bit, posted. I did a couple of things and got some great feedback. It wasn't live as such, but I recorded it and just sent it.
Yeah.
And I put, no editing. This is it. This is live. It is what it is. So yes, this is a great time. I think that we can, as independent artists, utilize these things. Live feed. I thought, sometimes many people, and I've done it too, right before my husband and I did a couple of things and posted, and people love it. But I think that when we start building relationships, and giving people something of us, as opposed to a lot of hype and fake reality shows, it's a different. This is reality, because I'm sitting here in my office and I'm playing this horn and I just send it. There's no editing. There's nothing fancy. And I think that is really appealing to people because it is real.
Yes, authentic.
Very authentic.
Yeah. So.
All right. Do we have time for another?
What time is it? We got 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Okay. I debated on whether I want to talk about this, but we're all in the entertainment. And I just found out that the 5th person has quit the board of Weinstein.
Oh,
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I didn't know who he was.
I didn't either. I didn't know who he was either.
Movies.
Yeah.
But Harvey Weinstein, and when I first heard it, I said, oh, okay, here's another Cosby thing, right? But the more I hear, I went, oh, wait a minute. We got a lot more facts with this. This is really deep. People are, you know, whatever his team, they're abandoning ship. If you know what I mean. So
yeah.
I'm like, okay, either 5, well, they're resigning because the movie academy is meeting now to expel him. They're talking about expelling him. So I'm not sure how that works when you are a big producer and you have your own company. Well, I guess you have to be a part of the academy, and it has rules and regulations. And I'm sure one of them is not to sexually harass your actresses. But anyway, but several of them have come forward to give their story.
Yeah.
And this one is, and I think I heard him passing, I can't remember where I heard it, that he was checking into a rehab for sex addiction.
Yeah, they did say that. They did.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid. I think, you know, he gonna check himself in, but once he get out of there, he gonna still be doing the same daggum thing. So
yeah,
it's just like a drug addict going there.
I mean, does he really have an addiction, or that's his way?
That's his way.
Away from, you know? But when you look at it,
as they call it, in order to get in the pictures,
he's been getting away with it for years, and nobody's in this.
Yes, it's been a long time, and of course, I've heard since my 20s when I wanted to get into the business that was prevalent, and everybody knows that. Did everybody have to do it? I don't know. All right, Griselda, she's falling apart over here.
Oh.
I'm gonna let Gris get it out.
No, because he was trying to finish what he was saying, and Ray was trying to talk at the same time.
You can't get in there, why?
Okay, Ray, when I'm done with the news, I'll hand it over to you.
No, I was just saying, you know, what you were saying. I was just elaborating on what you were saying about Harvey, you know. He's been doing that for years. So, you know, it's nothing no different, you know. And now that all of them that came out in the open, you know, now he got a sex addiction. He's going overseas somewhere to go see some doctors and stuff to try to help him out.
No, he's hiding.
That's all that is. Ain't much a bunch of...
Yeah, he just trying to run from it all.
That's all he is.
Yeah. And when you have people like Rosanna Arquette is coming forward with her story, a lot of, if for lack of a better word, mainstream artists, actresses are coming forward. Yeah. And all is gross when they talk about the things he did. Mm-hmm. Even the Judd girl, Judd, the actress, you know, there are 3 Judds, the mom and 2 daughters. Well, the one that's an actress, Judd.
Yeah, right now I can't think of her name.
Yeah.
Oh, what is wrong with me today? Okay.
I don't know, my brain.
Ashley.
Ashley, thank you.
Yes. My daughter's name. Shame on me. But anyway. But it seems, without reading each one, of course, it seems that he would have them, let's meet for lunch. Let's meet and go to the hotel. Come to my suite. And he'd answer the door in a robe. And then take it off and try to encourage them to do the same thing. And and they were trying to figure out how to get out. Or one said she was in when she walked in, he was in a bathtub naked and asked her to undress and things like that. Or in the shower.
Did you hear the few minutes of the audio tape of him when he sent that girl in there?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because she was wired. She went from the police station. They sent her back to.
That was from the police station? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And so they got that information off of him. And he was sitting there trying to get her to do all this stuff. And she kept saying, no, I feel uncomfortable, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he kept trying to course it in there and stuff. It was crazy. I was like, look at this.
Didn't he say something about swear to God on his kids or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What on his kids? What?
He said something in the audio tape. I can't remember. But he said, well, something about his kids. I swear to God, I won't do this no more. Something about his kids or something. I don't.
But it was all caught on tape.
Oh, wow.
Well, the problem is he would tell them they won't work anymore if they didn't do what he said.
That's what it's all about. They've been doing it for years. You are also seen some movies back in the day, and they was always talking about that casting couch.
Yes, that's what it's called, the casting couch.
Yeah.
And I won't say a name. A friend who he's an actor, and he said back in the day when he was doing things, commercials and a TV series, participating in, and he said a man came up to him and offered him, let me just be blunt, offered him the casting couch, and if he would take it, I can make sure your name gets up there.
Wow.
And he's, no man,
Mommy, don't play that.
But he even admitted he could have done even better if he had done the casting couch. But he said, I still got to wake up in the morning. And that's what you have to decide. If you can wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and feel real good about it, but if you can't, because that will stay with you.
Yeah, it will.
And it will mess you up.
Yeah, exactly. And then what happens is once you do it, you have to keep on doing it to keep making it.
Somewhere that it was saying that a lot of the actors out there today, they've been on that casting couch, and stuff like that, even some of the men.
But the thing is that they are already talented, if you know what I mean. Even if they did the casting couch, they are talented, but they had to sell their soul, and that's not good.
No, it's not.
How do you enjoy your success after that? And the ones who walked away from it and still managed to do something, but maybe it would have been even bigger for them. I don't know, and I don't think all the women are going to come forward. I think the ones that are going to come forward are the ones who said no.
Right. Yeah.
What got me, Jane Fonda, she just said she just found out this. Jane Fonda, long she's been I know she had to know what was happening.
Well, anyway, I know we only have a couple of minutes left. I just wanted to just make a quick comment that as I did a show at Park Manor Rehab Center where there were residents last night, and guys, this was priceless to see the residents get so involved in the music, raising their hands in the air. A couple of guys, one man said, I'm in tears. This was so wonderful. And he hollered, encore, encore. And one of the staff people said, well, he wants he's saying encore. So I came back and I did the backing track of what's going on. Yeah. All the staff started dancing. They created a Soul Train line.
All right.
And all the guys' name, I don't want to say, I'm going to make up a name. That's not his name. Jack. Come on, Jack. And he rolled his wheelchair. He steered it. And he was smiling out loud and hands in the air. And he rolled it and he was spinning around. And I played my saxophone around him. And then he was in tears. And then another man who was a Top Gun, the real deal, he said, I don't know what it is. But you guys, I just say that as musicians, that the power of music is incredible.
Oh yes, a big impact. Yes.
Power of music is incredible. And although there was a mixer with doctors and nurses and other people there, I was playing 2 rooms the way my husband arranged it. I greeted them, but then I could go behind a door, a wall, and entertain there as well. And I'm telling you guys, it was an amazing experience to hear the feedback. And I think that sometimes I'm in an audience and I hear a fantastic band and people are just not into it. They're turned away, they talk loud and they take for granted what's in front of them, where these people didn't take it for granted, and tears in their eyes. And one man couldn't talk. And I was taking pictures with a couple of the guys, the residents, and my husband said he signaled him and he touched his face, his forehead with his hand. And he didn't know what he meant, and he finally caught on, I want to take a picture too. And so a staff member brought him in the other room where I was breaking down. I said, of course I'll take a picture with you. So I bent down to take a picture, because he couldn't stand.
Right.
And the staff member said, are you crying? And I looked at him, I said, oh, it's okay to cry. You're human. Go ahead and, He was so, but I'm telling you guys, it was just such a great experience to be able to give something. God is so good. That's all I can say. And think about that. You have something to give back that will make one of the staff people said, this is music therapy. Mm-hmm. And we never think about what we do is therapy.
Yeah. So
all I say is just something I wanted to offer. And if anybody's from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I'm going to be at the Balcony at 9, the Balcony Club in Dallas, Texas, 1825 Abrams Road at 9:30 tonight.
All right. Go get them, Joyce.
I'll see you there, Mac. See you there, Mac.
Yeah,
I didn't hear you. I was checking something out.
Oh!
I wish I had a private jet. I'd be down there tonight.
Tonight at 9, right?
What?
You gonna be at the Balcony?
The Balcony Club in Dallas.
Yeah.
Hint, hint.
I heard that part at 9 o'clock.
Hint,
I heard my name said. Somebody said Mac what?
Well, you in Dallas.
He invited you to
close
go.
to Dallas anyway.
Right.
Fourth word.
I get so.
All right.
I get lazy.
All right.
Okay, that's a wrap.
Okay, well, it's time for us to get up out of here. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. Great show. Enjoyed Mr. Mark Arthur Miller. And of course, my co-host. I love you guys always. So y'all have a great weekend. And next week, we're going to be having Joyce. Tell us who we have next week.
Oh, yes, we have Eddie Harris, the legend Eddie Harris. Well, not Eddie Harris, but his family. His daughter, Yvonne, Mrs. Harris, and the sister, I forget her name.
Sarah?
She's going to, what?
Sarah? Is that
Sarah, yeah, that's it. And Sarah. Yvonne has been working real hard in preserving the legend in his music, developing websites, videos to educate and keep his legend going. So we're going to have a great time finding about, and all those of you know Eddie Harris, he's from traditional to, actually he was doing funk before funk was popular. And that's very interesting. And it's going to be a great time. So please tell people about it. Maybe we'll do an event announcement because it's his birthday, his 83rd birthday. And they chose GHP Radio to celebrate his birthday and talk about his contribution to the music industry. So we're honored about that.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
All right, Grizz, go.
Nope. Go, Ray.
Somebody. Okay, he said he's done. Go ahead, Grizz. We'll get out of here.
Okay, did you already say your goodbye? That was it?
He just waving.
They can't hear you. Waving is not going to cut it.
Okay, he's through.
Okay, if you're done, you're done, because you're not going to come after me. When I say goodbye, that's it. We're done.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I close. You're not closing anymore. It's my job.
Oh, okay, then I don't close no more.
Nope, that's
Go ahead
mine now.
and close, then. Go ahead and close.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Since Ray's being a little.
Oh, beep, beep, beep.
Oh, beep. There's no beeping. I'm not Ray.
Oh, goodness sake.
Anyway, I do want to thank my friend Mark Arthur Miller for being on the show. And like I said, he wished he could have stayed here the whole show, but like he had to work. So, but I'm glad he took the time to spend with us and to talk about his new music. And I hope you guys get his music. It's just amazing. He did a fantastic job with the recording and producing of it. So yeah, you've got to add it to your library. It's a must. Yeah. And can't wait for next week with the ladies that are coming on to speak about Eddie Harris. So I can't wait about that. Guys in the chat room, thank you for being here. Love you guys to the moon and back. And I do love my co-host as well, and my brother G over here running the show. And the listeners anonymously listening, tuning in, thank you. Hope you join us next week. And have a safe one out there, guys.
All right, we out. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Loner, just call my